Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a fun one. In today's video, I'm going to be battling in the Retro Cup, and I'm going hunting for the Retro Cup's #1 Pokemon, Oranguru, with two very cool anti-meta Pokemon, Samurott and Vespiquen. For Samurott, I'll be running Fury Cutter, Hydro Cannon, and Blizzard, although I would recommend Mega Horn, I just don't have TMs, and for Vespiquen, Poison Sting, X-Scissor, and Power Gem. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's let the Oranguru hunt begin in the Retro Cup. Hopping into the first match, leading Clodsire into Arctibax. For a lead Pokemon, I wanted something that was going to be able to take some hits, because Samurott is on the frailer side, so I figured Clodsire fit the bill. While I'm not running Stone Edge, my opponent did not know that, so by farming up to 7, I'm able to grab an early shield from them. Arctibax is going to fire off an Icy Wind. I'm now going to save energy and send in Samurott. Samurott will immediately be met with a Dragon Claw from the Arctibax. And this and a couple other matchups are why I do believe that on Samurott, Mega Horn is actually going to be preferred. I just, at the time of recording, have exactly 0 charge TMs, so I don't really have a great way of changing the moveset. So I am going to be committing the shield as they're going to fire off the Dragon Claw, and now we have all shields down in this matchup. I'm going to look to connect with the Hydro Cannon. This is resisted. It's going to come very close to knocking out here. Arctibax barely able to hang on. They bank a move, send in Superior, and I'm just going to fire off the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon is going to connect, not doing a ton of damage, and I'm going to bring in Vespiquen. I'm really going to need Vespiquen to put in some work in this endgame. The unfortunate thing is that I'm pretty sure the Arctibax did bank some energy. I'm going to overfarm, look to pick up the knockout with the X-Scissor, and I really need Vespiquen to be good into what they have in the back. They're thinking about it here. Are they going to reveal the final Pokemon? Yes, and it's Oranguru. This is very good for me. I'm going to be firing off this X-Scissor. I'm worried about a potential snipe, so I switch and I get the prediction right. Predicting them switching into the Arctibax, going for the Dragon Claw there. They go for a slight undercharge, but I get a farm down, and I get to connect with an Earthquake onto the Oranguru. So game 1, Oranguru successfully KO'd, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, that is a different kind of Primeape here, as we've got Primeape on the lead. Primeape overfarming quite a bit and looking to boost up its attack with a Rage Fist. Opponent is going to switch and catch onto Oranguru. I should have been more careful waiting a turn. Now I'm going to send in Vespiquen, as Vespiquen just has a completely dominant matchup here. Vespiquen is surprisingly bulky, and non-stab Brutal Swing is just going to do less than nothing in this matchup. I am going to look to pick up the knockout with the X-Scissor. Opponent, they are not going to protect Oranguru, so it will get KO'd. So now I do exit with some energy. Unfortunately, this energy is completely walled by Primeape. So they can send in Primeape. Primeape is going to be hit with an X-Scissor. X-Scissor not going to do a ton of damage. They're farming up quite a bit. And another Rage Fist, I can survive. So I am just going to let this through, and then I can make it to another X-Scissor. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be enough to KO. It's resisted, but Primeape is very glassy. Opponent in the back has Jump Bluff. And the question is, do they know about Power Gem? Vespiquen charging up, Power Gem connects, dealing some solid damage. And now I can just send in Clodsire. Jumpluff, able to absorb the Power Gem pretty well. It's a very bulky Pokemon, but now this poor Jumpluff is stuck against the Clodsire. And I'm just never shielding this Clodsire. They can go for the Energy Ball. That's a very comfortable survive. I can make it to another Sludge Bomb as well. This Sludge Bomb is going to be grabbing the final shield from the Jumpluff. Jumpluff firing off energy. And again, I'm just not going to be shielding. Energy Ball lands. Switch timer is up, so I can send in the Samurott. And Samurott will just be in a winning position. They do have a move available on their Primeape, and they're going to use it here. But I am not going to let a close combat land, so I'm just going to shield, get the Fury Cutter down, and I have the Hydro Cannon ready to go once they bring back in the Jumpluff. Honestly, could have Fury Cutter down as well, but I figured the Hydro Cannon was the slightly faster way to secure the game. Hopping into the next match, we pick up a pretty tough lead. Clodsire into Shadow Marowak. I save switch into Samurott. Opponent is going to respond with Superior. Superior farming up quite a bit of energy, and I will commit the shield. My goal here is I want to farm up a ton, bait with a Hydro Cannon, and then try and land a Blizzard. I don't know if the pacing will allow, however, so I go for the bait, and they call the bait! What a soul read by my opponent. Oh, that is absolutely terrible for me. I'm going to fire off another Hydro Cannon. There's the shield from the opponent, and they're not going to let me make Hydro Cannon number 3. So they are going to pick up the knockout with the Aerial Ace, but this is going to set up a great farm for the Clodsire. Clodsire does not have a good matchup against Kanto Marowak by any means. However, if I can exit with 100 energy, then I can apply some pretty serious pressure. And I am going to actually exit here with 99 energy on that Clodsire, so just shy of 100. And they send in the Marowak, so I'm going to look to connect with an Earthquake. They're one off the Mud Bomb. I think about catching it, but I think it's too risky, and they do actually end up throwing right away. So in hindsight, I should have just gone for the catch. And now it's all up to Vespiquen to try and sweep in the back. In the back, opponent has a regular Typhlosion, and this is not looking great. Typhlosion, of course, lightning fast pacing. Thunder Punch is going to be shielded. I'm going for the Power Gem, but at this point, I think they can just win by no shielding and winning the game with the Marowak, but they shield. I'm going to get a Power Gem before they get the move. Now, the question is, how much residual energy do I have? Can I get to a move? In comes the Marowak. I do get to the X-Scissor. X-Scissor is hitting for neutral here, and it will secure the KO. So, a very scary lead, but we are able to take the win. Hopping to the next match, Clodsire into Talonflame. Now, I don't have Stone Edge, but again, opponents have no way of knowing that until you throw your move. So as long as you farm up to 7, Talonflames should be respecting that. So I'm able to grab an early shield advantage, which is quite nice. And from here, I think I'm just going to let this matchup play out and not use any shields. Sludge Bomb number 2 reached by the Clodsire. Now that they've seen him on Sludge Bomb, they're never going to be shielding this, so they are going to let that through, and they're firing off some energy. I actually think that I'm okay with letting this through. I'm just going to go for energy on Samurott. So I bring in the Samurott, opponent going to send in Licky Licky, and I'm very happy to see this here and not on the Vespiquen. Vespiquen, of course, would get absolutely torn to shreds by double super effective rollouts. I'm going to farm up a ton of energy with the Samurott. If my opponent overfarms, then I'm going to make the Hydro Cannon here, but they know where my energy's at, and they're going to fire off the Body Slam right away, and that's going to force a shield. I'm going to throw in 9 Fury Cutters here because I am looking to go for a CMP tie against the Licky Licky. I just want as much residual energy as I can possibly get. So the Hydro Cannon will be enough to pick up the knockout. In the back is Arctibax. I'm going to bank a Hydro Cannon and send in the Vespiquen. Vespiquen going to go for an X-Scissor bait. It's a bit risky, but they do end up respecting it. They're farming up a ton of energy. In comes the Talonflame, and I'm firing off the Power Gem right away. I do not want to take any extra damage. This Arctibax has quite a bit of energy. At this point, I should be in a winning position here as long as I shield an Icy Wind, because I can make it to an X-Scissor. I was going to say before they make another Icy Wind, this is too early. This is only the Dragon Claw, and this means that I will actually get to the Power Gem. I was banking on an endgame where X-Scissor plus Hydro Cannon KO'd, but since they ended up just going for the Dragon Claw, I can make a Power Gem and farm down. We pick up a positive lead in the next match, Clodsire into Araquanid, and this game is a great demonstration of how not to play this lead. I overfarm expecting a catch on 7, they don't catch, and instead, I let them Bubble Beam me before I get any damage onto this Araquanid. So we're already off to a very poor start, because Sludge Bomb is now going to do less than nothing. I'm going to look to bank this energy and then just bring in the Samurott. Of course, I don't have Mega Horn on the Samurott, but my opponent does not know that. So they're going to actually stay in here, fire off energy, and I'm just always going to be no shielding. It is going to be the Bubble Beam, and now that they have sufficiently debuffed me, in comes Dunsparce. Dunsparce, of course, is not going to be taking a ton of damage from the debuffed Hydro Cannons. If they were at full power, Hydro Cannon would actually do quite a bit here, but debuffed, the Dunsparce is completely unbothered. Dunsparce going to look to pick up a knockout with a Drill Run. They should be 2 rollouts or 6 turns away from the move. So to get the max overfarm, I will actually throw 2 Poison Stings here and look to pick up the knockout with a Sludge Bomb. So they do get KO'd. In the back is Annihilate, and this is risky, but I'm going for a bait. I really need to land some damage on the Annihilate. I'm able to grab the shield, which is absolutely massive, and they're going to throw right before I get there. I am worried if I undertap, they're going to catch, so I'm going to do 1 and the Earthquake, and they catch, and that's just a back-breaking catch from which there is no return. Oh my goodness, I should have waited the turn. That's honestly entirely my fault. That's a preventable catch if I wait the turn, but I was not patient, and now I have no way of damaging this Annihilate. Everything I'm throwing here puts me in a tremendously difficult spot. In theory, I should probably be going for Power Gems because Power Gem is only single resisted instead of the X-Scissors being double resisted. But realistically, at this point, I had just resigned myself to the loss. So I think if I Power Gem in this endgame, it's a little bit closer, but it's still not a winning endgame for me after that Earthquake was caught. If I don't let the Earthquake be caught, then I'm in a winning position. But at this point here, I try for the catch, I fail the catch, and yeah, this is just over. I had every opportunity to win this game, but it just goes to show that even with a favorable team comp, you have to execute and make good plays, and in this game, I did not whatsoever. We move to the next match, Clodsire into Oranguru, and our target has once again been acquired. A quick switch to Samurott. Samurott is going to be firing off a Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon is going to be no-shielded, and my opponent will farm up to a Trailblaze. Trailblaze would inflict a lot of damage on the Glassy Samurott, so I will commit the shield. And now they send in a Shadow Flygon. Look at the spice. If they shield, I'm just getting swept here. I have no way to damage this thing, but they let it go. And now I have a chance. They're at 5 Dragon Tails. They're 1 off the Scorching Sands. I think I have 1 play back into this game. Throw a Poison Sting, switch into Vespiquen, and attempt to catch a triple resisted Scorching Sands, and we get the catch. Oh my goodness, and just like that, we might be back in the game, but it's going to all come down to what they have in the back. They send in Oranguru, and Oranguru could make a move, so I'm forced to fire off the X-Scissor. X-Scissor KOs Oranguru. In the back is Shadow Gyarados. What a cool team from the opponent. I am going to bait with the X-Scissor here. In hindsight, I honestly think it's just too risky of a bait. I shouldn't have done so. And now I can fire off the Power Gem. And at this point, now that I've grabbed both their shields, I can just send in the Clodsire because Shadow Aqua Tail from Gyarados hurts. It does a ton of damage, but this is why we put Clodsire on the team, because Clodsire is very, very bulky. Clodsire able to tank that, make it to the Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb just does too much damage. They can KO the Clodsire, but honestly, I wanted to take the win with Vespiquen anyway. And 1 Poison Sting from Vespiquen means game over. Losing lead in the next match, Clodsire into Feraligatr. I safe switch into Samurott, and my opponent is going to go for a Hydro Cannon on their Feraligatr. I'm very fine no shield in this. They're going to send in Talonflame, and if they're switching this in, they are really, really weak to Samurott. Oh my goodness. Hydro Cannon is going to be shielded. I'm going to farm up there. And I threw 4 Fury Cutters, but unfortunately the game stuttered and forced a throw on alignment. They actually no shield, which I don't think they could have done if the game didn't force me to throw on alignment. They're going to go for a Brave Bird, and now they're going to be able to send back in the Feraligatr. But the tides have turned. I have a small energy advantage, and I have a shield advantage. They're going to try and go for a CMP tie, but I'm just not going to throw there. Instead, I'm going to shield and look to overfarm and look to pick up a knockout with an Earthquake. They're not in Sludge Bomb range yet, so I'm going to fire off the Earthquake. Earthquake is going to be shielded, and they're farming up again with this Feraligatr. This is tough, but I decide to shield. I am going to commit to the Clodsire. I wait the turn to make sure they don't catch. I'm hoping a Sludge Bomb will KO. Sludge Bomb is going to knock out. In the back is Skeledirge, and with the perfect overfarm on energy, we make the Earthquake, inflicting massive damage to the Skeledirge, and now this game is just won. The game got a lot more complicated by the fact that we did have a lag mid-game that forced a throw on alignment, but we're still able to fight back. And with perfect energy management on Clodsire, we're able to get the Skeledirge low enough that we can KO with an X-Scissor. Hopping into what I believe is the final match, leading Clodsire into Dunsparce. Dunsparce throwing right away, which is a pretty massive surprise. Typically, Dunsparce does want to throw on odds here. I guess my opponent may be worried about a catch, so they just end up throwing right away, because typically I'm not going to catch right when they get to the move. Earthquake's going to land, and they do it again. So again, I'm more than happy to take the free Poison Sting there, and I guess my opponent is just really wanting to guarantee this damage. I'm overfarming quite a bit with the Clodsire, looking to secure the knockout with the Earthquake. Are they going to shield? No! They're going to let Dunsparce go and bring in Goodra. This is honestly pretty bad. I aggressively pivot into Samurott, but Samurott does not do well here. Samurott, at the very least, I do have Fury Cutter working for me, so Fury Cutters are adding up. I'm going to farm up past the Blizzard and bait with the Hydro Cannon to try and force a shield from the opponent. I would love to see them P-tie a Hydro Cannon to their next Thunder Punch, so I'm going to farm up, but I miscount it. They get to the Thunder Punch, that's going to KO, and now it's all up to Vespiquen. In the back is going to be Shadow for Alligator, and this is going to be a difficult game to play out of. The nice thing here is I do get to land the X-Scissor right away. This is only a Hydro, but I feel like I have to shield. Shadow for Alligator inflicts some serious damage. I'm farming up with the Vespiquen, and they are now at a Hydro Cannon. I'm going to predict that they're going to go for the Ice Beam, so I'm going to throw 2, switch into the Clodsire, and get the catch. That is absolutely massive. Hydro Cannon will pick up the KO. They're going to switch into the Goodra, and I need a very precise overfarm with the Vespiquen. Vespiquen firing off the X-Scissor. This barely does not KO, but the Poison Sting after does, and that allows me to leave with an X-Scissor loaded. So Vespiquen, an entirely neutral damage endgame, but it is able to sweep with the help of a catch. All in all, I did have a lot of fun getting to run this team. This team is definitely more on the anti-meta side of things. So again, it's not going to be a top climbing team by any means, although I did go very positive in the sets that I ran with it. It's more so just for those who are trying to run something a little more interesting rather than running just a standard double Confusion or double Dragon team. But overall, I really like Vespiquen as a Pokemon. I really hope that it gets like one additional move update next season, so that way it could really get to top meta status. But for the time being, it's just a very fun anti-meta team that just happens to absolutely destroy the hopes and dreams of just about any Oranguru that you may encounter. I did want to leave a little bit of an extra note about Samurott, and that's that you could probably run Shadow for Alligator in that role, but the unique niche that I think Samurott occupies is it does a lot of what Feraligatr can do, but the important distinction is that his fast move hits for super effective on Oranguru instead of being resisted. I did try out Feraligatr in a different team, and honestly, with the amount of normal types in this meta, it honestly felt a little tricky to use. It's definitely still strong. I mean, it's a Shadow Feraligatr after all. But one can only encounter so many Oranguru plus 2 other normal types in the back. I think one team was like Oranguru, Furret, and then Kecleon, and I just couldn't Shadow Claw down anything. So I do think that, strangely in this meta, having a bug type fast move is actually a help, whereas normally in the Open Great League, it ends up being more of a hindrance. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.